Hello everyone, this is Crytex Tech here. So iPhone 14 just launched few weeks ago and the Pro models have some really cool features in them. So let's compare the iPhone 14 Pro Max with the 12 Pro Max and the XS Max. There is a 2 generation gap between all of these models and let's see if it's worth upgrading to the 14 Pro Max from all of these models. This is going to be a long video, so get your popcorns and let's start this video, shall we? Let's start with the hardware and design. And you can see the XS Max has the smallest design in them. It has a 6.5-inch display with the rounded sides and it feels pretty great in the hand. Comparing with the 6.7-inch display on both the 12 and the 14. You can see because of the smaller display, it's pretty easy to hold in the hand. And the 12 and the 14 feel pretty gigantic to hold, as you can't reach the whole display with just one hand. The new design on the 12 Pro Max has been followed onto the 14 Pro Max as well, and you can see the camera differences between both of them. The XS Max has one of my favorite gold color, screaming premiumness all over it. But the 12 Pro Max isn't that bad. It does look more of a white than gold. The 12 Pro Max comes with the new boxy design and the 14 as well. The 12 and the 14 have ceramic shield on both of them for drop protection, which is not found on the XS Max. All of these phones feel pretty premium in the hand. At the back you can see the XS Max's Apple logo is slightly higher than the 12 and the 14. And this trend has been going on for many years now, and it adds up to the premiumness of the phone. All of these phones are covered with stainless steel on the side and glass at the back. There's frosted glass on 14s and the 12 and the glossy back on XS Max. And all of these phones are still stuck with the lightning cable, which sucks. Coming to the displays of the phone, the XS Max has the smaller display compared with all three. And the 12 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max has the biggest display, that is 6.7 inches. All of these displays are OLED and XS Max has a peak brightness of 625 nits compared with 800 on the 12 Pro Max and 1000 on the 14 Pro Max. But 12 Pro Max can go up to 1200 nits for HDR video and 1600 nits on the 14 Pro Max. But it can also go 2000 nits on outdoor settings, which is significant upgrade between 2 years, but it doesn't end there, as the display on the 12 Pro Max has been upgraded from the XS Max for being more bright and big. But the 14 Pro Max's display is better as it has the LTPO panel going from 1 to 120 Hz, unlike the ones on other two which are still stuck at 60 Hz. Also, the dynamic island on the new 14 looks pretty good compared to the massive bezels that are found on the 12 Pro Max and the XS Max. And it looks pretty dated as it's going on for 4 years with the big notch. And you can do some pretty cool things with the dynamic island, but the hole punch cutout on the 14 isn't that smaller compared to the 13s. And it even comes in the middle while watching some of the videos online, and sometimes it feels distracting. Also, the always on display is the major part of the new iPhone 14s, and I think it's going to be new thing going on forward for the iPhones. And the display alone is going to be worth upgrading from the 12 Pro Max and XS Max to the 14 Pro Max. But even if it has 120 Hz, it's more of a premium feature over 60 Hz panel, and considering the price difference, you can't go wrong with any of these. But the XS Max has one thing that is not found on any of these phones. That's 3D touch. And it feels great while interacting with the phone as you can navigate pretty fast with it. You can check how the video shows on all of these, and also you can check the speaker quality right now. Battery life on 14 Pro Max is straight up better than any of the others. You can see the battery capacity on all three of these. The 14 constantly gives me between 6 to 7 hours of battery life with the always on display, and so it takes the win in the battery department, followed by the 12's battery, which is good as well, giving the screen on time of between 5 to 6 hours. The XS Max has the worst battery life, being 4 years old now, and the aging doesn't help with it. And surprisingly, the battery health on my iPhone XS Max and the 12 Pro Max is similar at 80%. The battery life has been a bit dodgy because of the new iOS 16 update. And so I can't give you a definitive answer of which has the better battery life. But considering the 14 Pro Max is new, you can get better battery life on that. But the Apple's website gives a simplified hours of video playback for all of these phones, which you can see right now. The charging situation on the 14 has been upgraded as well. That supports 27 watts of fast charging compared with 22 watts on the 12 Pro Max and the 15 watts on the XS Max, which is low compared to the Android competitors out there. But the MagSafe actually makes it pretty simple to charge the 12 and the 14. Coming to one of the most important topics on phones these days, that are the cameras. I have done a separate camera comparison of these, and you can check that review somewhere right here. And the camera upgrades are good from the 14 to the 12s and the XS. But all of these record 4K at 60 fps. And only the Pro models have the telephoto lens in them. But the major difference with the 14 Pro Max is its upgraded 48 megapixel camera, comparing with the 12 megapixel on all of the models since the iPhone 6s. Please check the video after you watch this one. The performance on all of these phones is pretty damn awesome, as the A12 chip on the iPhone XS Max is still performing great, and you won't find any jitters throughout the UI. And the games even run at 60 fps all the time. You might find some jitters while doing heavy duty stuff, but it's not that prominent, and you can use this even longer, which is awesome considering the age of this phone, which is 4 years old now. But the A14 on the 12 Pro Max just flies through the UI, and the games run smoothly on this phone. And this is one of the best performing phones in the market, even comparing with the iPhone 14. A16 in the 14 isn't a huge leap over the A15, but it is a good upgrade over the A14, and it has one extra GPU core, which is a good upgrade over the A14, and it's a bit ahead in terms of graphics. Let's do a small speed test between these three phones. Also, the 4 GB of RAM on the iPhone XS Max might have some limiting factors, and also the chips are 7 nanometers, 5 nanometers and 4, going down in size, improving the efficiency of the phone. You can check the benchmark results as well. They aren't that apart from each other. There is 30% jump between all of these phones. You can see the graphics performance as also has 30 to 35% jump from the previous year models. And it's a big jump going from the XS Max to the 12 Pro Max to the 14s. All of these phones are IP68 water and dust resistant, and the 14 and the 12 Pro Max can go for 6 meters for up to 30 minutes, and the XS Max can go up to 2 meters for 30 minutes, which is great for underwater photography. Software is one of the things that is similar in all of these phones, and you aren't going to get any less features in the iPhone XS Max and 12 Pro Max comparing with the 14. This is one of the best things of iPhone, provided we get all the new features that come with iOS 16. But the iPhone XS Max, being 4 years old now, might not get the newest updates that are available in the 14s. It might support from iOS 18 to 19, but the 12 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max are just set for future updates to come, and you don't have to worry about either of these phones. So you can see the trend here, as the iPhone XS Max lacks a lot of features compared with the 12 Pro Max, which in turn lacks a lot of features coming from the 14 Pro Max. The 14s and the 12 both support 5G, but the iPhone XS only supports 4G, which is one of the important factors while buying a new phone, as the new phone should come with 5G built in. The XS Max, on the other hand, doesn't support 5G, which is a bummer, as this is the only thing limiting for recommending this phone to you. You can check the speed test between all three, but I can't show you the 5G speeds as it's not available in my area. So comparing the 4G speeds,
14 Pro Max is much faster compared to other two.
Also, some features like crash detection and satellite connectivity are some of the life-saving features to have in the 14s. So, coming to the conclusion, the iPhone XS Max has most of the basic things covered that you want in a phone. And if you are planning to get an iPhone SE, you should instead go for the iPhone XS Max or the 11 Pro Max because they are all going for the same price, that is 600 Australian dollars. But if you want 5G connectivity, bigger display, better cameras with deep fusion, night mode on all of the cameras, and better battery life, you should probably go for the 12s as you are also getting MagSafe support and longer software support. If you ask me, these are much better upgrades and I would wholeheartedly suggest you the 12 Pro Max over the XS Max. If you have a 12 Pro Max and you're planning to getting the 14 Pro Max, you're getting the better battery life, the better software support, much better screen with always on display and dynamic island on it, and much better cameras including macro mode, cinematic mode, action mode, and photonic engines, which are bigger upgrades coming from the 12 Pro Max than the 13 Pro Max. If you are confused between which of the new phones to get, you should definitely consider the iPhone 14 Pro Max over the 12 Pro Max and the XS Max. But if you're fine going for the refurbished market over there, the 12 Pro Max is a better deal between all three of these phones, and you're getting a better bang for your buck for the price. You can also grab the 13 Pro Max if you're getting the good deal on it. But considering between all three of these phones, you should definitely consider the 12 Pro Max if you're fine going for the second hand market. That's been it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.